right, it's news time, and we're gonna get started right away. And this one is titled "All Over the World," and the first story is gonna be about the DC Dunce's girlfriend Giuliani. Last week, President DC Dunce's personal lawyer Rudy Giuliani fired his lawyer, former Watergate prosecutor John Sale, despite being under criminal investigation for his actions in Ukraine. It's silly to have a lawyer when I don't need one, Giuliani told the New York Daily News just after his decision to ignore a congressional subpoena. Well, it's been a week, and he might need one, according to CNN. The DC Dunce's personal lawyer is looking for a personal lawyer. Though he did not comment to the network whether or not he hired new representation, CNN reports that he has been in contact with at least 3 different defense attorneys and that people close to him have been advising him to lawyer up. There are many reasons for Giuliani, who, according to the former National Security Counsel Fiona Hill, was running a shadow State Department in Ukraine, to have a robust team, let alone a single personal lawyer. There's a criminal investigation conducted by the FBI and his former office at the Southern District of New York, determining if he broke any laws while lobbying in the Ukraine with his 2 recently arraigned associates and all-around so-called stand-up guys, Parnas and Fruman. There's also been reported counterintelligence investigation determining if his actions undermine national security. So, says perhaps the greatest bit of irony in the Ukraine scandal, considering Giuliani was brought on to defend the DC Dunce against similar charges in the Russia investigation. So that's right, lock them all up. You can put them both in the same cell. They wouldn't mind. Okay, here we go to New York here. This is, like I said, this is titled All Around the World. That was Washington, D.C. This is New York. Story in New York. A New York chapter of the Council on American Islamic Relations announced Monday that an employee filed a discrimination complaint against the New York State Department of Motor Vehicles for not accommodating his schedule for his Friday prayers. A 40-year-old Bengali American filed a complaint against the New York DMV on Friday after he said the department failed to adjust his schedule for Friday prayers in Ramadan after his repeated requests. He said in the complaint that it is his sincerely held religious belief that I attend Friday congregational prayer. Because I am observing my faith at work, my job is at risk, he said in the complaint. The part-time employee was hired at the DMV in January and asked for an accommodation allowing him to attend Friday prayers for an hour by taking his lunch and official breaks at the same time. He received approval for that adjustment in February, allowing him to leave work for prayer, but it expired after 3 months. According to the complaint, the man sent 2 requests in May asking for an extension of the adjustment, and it was, so far it's been denied. So he filed a discrimination lawsuit against the New York DMV. So got to keep watching this one to see what happens. So here we go. Now we're going to Europe. We're going over to Europe now. Keeping with the theme, all around the world. Okay. Government policies which deny so-called irregular African immigrants the right to work in Europe may be encouraging many migrants to stay, despite a desire among migrants to ultimately return to their home countries. Scaling Fences, a report from the United Nations Development Program, interviewed 1,900 migrants from 39 African countries and 13 European nations, those who arrived in Europe through irregular means, and not for asylum or protection-related reasons. The authors discovered a substantial number of migrants do not move to Europe to settle permanently, but to work and send money back to their families and communities. About 81% of the respondents said working and sending money back is their primary or secondary factor in their decision to migrate, while only 3% said a better life was the single biggest factor driving the decision. Remittances represent a significant boon to African economy. Money sent back to sub-Saharan Africa grew by almost 10% to 46 billion in 2018. Once in Europe, the report found these economic migrants who began earning were actually less likely to want to stay permanently compared to those not earning, as the apparent shame of not achieving their mission arose as a main factor in keeping migrants from returning home. So it's they got that racial discrimination going on in Europe too. You know, you got same thing you got going on here. You got the DC DUNCE that's discriminating against the migrants coming from Mexico, Central America, and South America that are coming here, and you got doing the same thing in Europe. So this is a worldwide offensive here. Yep. So we had a standoff at the recent Green Bay Packers game, and he had a fan who showed support for the blackball former San Francisco 49ers quarterback Colin Kaepernick. The fan is seen wearing a black Colin Kaepernick jersey and giving the Black Power salute during the playing of the national anthem. The video also captures a woman behind him who was somehow offended by the jersey, giving Cap supporter the middle finger. Cap sparked large outrage among the segment of the NFL fans when he began to kneel during the playing of the national anthem before the game in a demonstration of protest against racial injustice and civil rights violations aimed at black people. Since his protest became the topic of discussion on every sports and news program, Kaepernick has been deemed radioactive by the league and its owners and has not even been called for a tryout. It's been 3 years since Kaepernick has taken the field in the NFL as a quarterback, and despite his efforts to remain in shape, it is unlikely he will ever play again in the NFL. I say, Cap, you need to just say, you know, the hell with the NFL. They got the CFL. I think you need to go up to Canada, win a couple of those Canadian Super Bowls, and then let's see who will be knocking on your door. And if they don't knock, hey, stay in Canada and make that money, man. All right, so, hey, that's the news for the day. News time, baby.
News time. News time, baby.
News time.
It's news time. It's news time, baby.
News time, that's right. KP in the news. Peace.